Hi, and welcome to TXDZNY. On today's show, I'm going to be ranking my top 10 rides at Walt Disney World for kids. So, I've already done a video on ranking my top 10 favorite thrill rides at Walt Disney World. So, this one's not going to have any thrill rides on it. In fact, this list is only going to have rides that have no height requirement for kids, meaning that newborn baby can go on these rides if they wanted to. There's no, you know, some of these height restrictions start as early as like 32 inches for like Barnstormer, 36 inches for some others, 40 inches is a big mark. All these rides are going to have zero height requirement. So this list, unlike my thrill ride list, was probably going to be a little bit more controversial for some because so many people have attachments to some of these classic Disney rides that are for kids and stuff like that. So I just did my top 10. And what I'm really including in this is going to be I'm going to be factoring what my kids like, seeing what Disney World was like through their eyes and seeing what they like, as well as what me and my wife like, mostly me. So at 10, I'm going to have Mickey's Runaway Railway, which is at Hollywood Studios. It's inside that Chinese theater that you're going to see as soon as you walk into Hollywood Studios' park. I consider it a newer ride, but it has been around now for several years. Um, it is part of that like newer technology where it's a trackless ride, but it does kind of take you through like a little bit more of an old school type journey with Mickey, Minnie. It's gonna have all your classic characters in it, and it is a kind of a real fun ride for kids because they go and they get to see all their classic characters. It's not scary at all. Some people call it a dark ride just because of the kind of the theming throughout the ride, but it's not going to scare your kids at all. But it is a real fun ride, and it's kind of that more newer technology that Disney's kind of going to with that trackless system. So we love that ride. It's always a must do when we go to Hollywood Studios because there aren't very many actual rides there that don't have height requirements. There's only about a few of them there. So a lot of what we take the kids on when they were really little were shows. So Mickey's Runaway Railway was always a must get for us as a Genie Plus option when we had our kids when we take them when they were really little. But even at their ages now, they still love this ride. So it's ranked at 10 for me, but we do love this ride. At 9, I'm going to have Pirates of the Caribbean. Um, I absolutely love this ride. It's at Magic Kingdom and Adventureland. It's a classic ride that is pretty much at all Disney parks, and I love the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. My kids actually love it too. My son, oddly, when he was real little, he loved Pirates of the Caribbean. In fact, one of the nicknames we call him is Captain because he loved Captain Jack Sparrow so much when he was little. So he still carries a nickname, a little bit of a nickname Captain. But we love this ride. It does have a little bit of a drop, about halfway through the ride. It is more of a dark ride for kids, but for some reason our kids were never are scared of it. The theming throughout it is just great. If you've seen the movies, I get when if you have little kids, maybe you haven't even shown them the movies and stuff like that yet because it can be a little bit scarier. But our kids didn't seem to mind it, and they didn't get scared very easily by it. So we love going on it. It's a ride that I always loved before kids. It was a must go for me with Pirates of the Caribbean because I absolutely love those movies and I love the classicness of that ride. So that's why it's sitting at number 9 for us. At 8, I'm going to have The Seas with Nemo and Friends. Now, this one I'll be very open about. I don't think this ride is anything great. My kids love this ride from. We took our kids when they were very little, both of them, to Walt Disney World, and this was one of their favorite rides from the second we took them. Epcot's our favorite park, and this is over there, kind of tucked in back behind Spaceship Earth and going towards the land of Epcot. And it was a great way when me and my wife would try to mix and match going on Soarin' and child swapping and things like that. The other one would take the other kids on the Seas with Nemo and Friends. And it made it for a good little way for like us to child swap and go on that ride. But the Seas with Nemo and Friends, we've always loved. One of the better parts about this ride is the accessibility of it. It very rarely has a long wait time. It's normally just a walk on. So it is a ride when if it's really hard for you to go on some of these rides at Epcot, whether the lines are just too long, you couldn't get a Genie Plus from whatever it might be, you're pretty much always going to be able to go on the Nemo ride here with little to no wait time. So that makes it very easy to take kids when they're really little, knowing that they don't have to wait on lines. Another big thing that our kids liked was going to the aquarium after area after the ride. Absolutely loved it. I mean, they would just go around. They have a little booklet like they do at the festivals there, where they can go find certain fish and go around. They have a little play area there on the bottom level. So the kids loved it. They still do to this day, but they seem to love it even more when they were really, really little. So the ride itself isn't anything incredible, although we do like it. But the aquarium area and the accessibility with it having like little to no wait time all the time is what makes it our eighth on this list. At seven, I'm going to have Haunted Mansion. Now, me, I love the classicness of Haunted Mansion. I love the scenes. I do love Halloween, so it's kind of the whole year-long Halloween vibe there. Just like a lot of these other darker rides, our kids never had issues with them when they were little, and still to this day. They actually think it's really funny when you finish the ride and the ghosts are kind of floating above your head and kind of doing tricks and jokes on you. So they kind of look forward to that at the end. Seeing some of the songs and stuff that they know really gets them excited. I think it's just one of those really good classic Disney rides there and that's why I have it on this list because um, while little kids, if you take them when they're really little, they're probably not even going to be scared of it yet because they don't really know what's going on. But even when they get to that age where they kind of understand, if you let them know that's all like kind of fun, and if you see how the ride kind of flows, they do have a lot of the ghosts in it do kind of act silly and stuff like that. So if you can try to talk that up with your kids and tell them it's kind of a silly ride more than like a scary Halloweenish type ride, it really helped with our kids, and they're not scared of it to this day. And we just love the classicness of this ride. We actually, when we decorate a Halloween tree when we put up in September and October, and it's pretty much it's got a lot of haunted mansion theming to it because we love this ride so much. At six, I'm gonna have Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. This is at Magic Kingdom, and it's gonna be over there in the Tomorrowland area. Um, Tomorrowland does have a lot of rides in a very, very tight little area over there. So it can get kind of crowded, and it is one of the rides there that kids do love. With Space Mountain and Tron now back there, and having height requirements. It is one of the rides that kids kind of get excited about. So it can have sometimes a longer standby line than what you think. But we always find it relatively easy to get a lightning lane for this ride. But it's a great way to just it's a very interactive ride when you're sitting there shooting your laser throughout it. We always when we go, we normally go to each park twice, so we'll rotate who goes with which kid. And we always sit there and oh, I'm going to verse you on this one, I'm going to verse you on this one, and get a little competitive spirit going in it. Being that my kids are so little still, we always tell them that they win. My daughter, she's old enough now where she can, read numbers, and she knows if she doesn't. So I pretty much just don't aim for all the things when I'm with her. But it is really cool to let them sit there and win and get all excited and tell them how good they did, and I'll kind of control the car for them and everything. But they absolutely love it because it's very interactive and they feel like they're like really engaged in the ride. My son, who absolutely loves Toy Story, he loves it obviously. Buzz Lightyear is one of his favorite characters, so he's always going to love it. So little boys are going to love it a ton. Even little girls are going to like it obviously a lot. But it's a great little fun ride for kids, even when they're little. I mean, something when they're really little that's kind of hard for them to see, and you got to kind of help them. Uh, but you could always sit there and tell them, "Hey, you did a great job. You won," and they get really, really excited. So don't skip out on the Buzz Lightyear game. At five, I'm gonna have Winnie the Pooh, which is back in Fantasyland of Magic Kingdom. Um, Now this ride is more that I when I was a little kid, and still to this day, Winnie the Pooh and the whole Winnie the Pooh franchise and characters were some of my favorites. Um, and it kind of got carried down to my kids, especially my son. I mean, he sleeps with a Pooh Bear every single night that he cuddles, and so this is always a really really cool ride for me. It's not that the ride is anything incredible. It's got some classicness to it, but we just love the whole Winnie the Pooh characters. What's great for the kids on this ride is the queue is very interactive also. So the kids get to sit there and play around. We still try to get a lightning lane for it, but if you are on a standby, a lot of these rides back there in Fantasy Lane can get a little bit longer. But your kids will be entertained while they're sitting there in line on this one. It does have a very interactive queue, so that's something to keep in mind. And our kids just love the whole theming of Winnie the Pooh. They love all the characters, and so do I. And so it makes it a really fun ride for us, just because of the classicness of it and how much we like the characters. So that's why it's sitting at number 5 for us. At 4, I'm going to have Toy Story Mania at Hollywood Studios. So much like the Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, it's going to be another Toy Story game that's very interactive with you, kind of shooting different things at all. But this one is a little bit different, where I feel like your kids do have to. I think the game is better for this one, but your kids do have to be older for this one, because pulling on the string and putting on the 3D glasses when your kids are really really little is hard for them. But as soon as they hit, they're about that 2-3 age, they will be able to fully enjoy this ride. A little insider trick for you parents out there is to not waste your energy on the practice rounds on this one. Obviously, we don't have as much energy sometimes as the little kids do, so don't waste you're pulling on the string when it's just a practice round. But it is a good little competitive ride to get into with your kids. Um, our kids, like I said when I mentioned the Buzz Lightyear game, a ride, that they're now getting to where they can read the scores and everything like that. So I can't just tell them always that they win. So we like to keep it competitive, and I'll let them win sometimes, but I got to show them that Daddy can win whenever he wants. So it's a cool little game, and it's a great little ride over there. And once again, at Hollywood Studios, they don't have a ton of rides there that don't have a height requirement. So it is a must do when you have little ones there, because they will get to enjoy it with so many other of the rides having height requirements. At 3, I'm going to have Ratatouille back there in the France Pavilion in Epcot. We absolutely love this ride. This is also one of the newer rides, kind of at Disney World. It's going to be that similar system that Mickey's Runaway Railway has, where it's going to be a trackless ride. The difference with this one is you're going to be putting on 3D glasses for this ride, and so that makes it where, I mean, like I said, every ride on this doesn't have a height requirement, but your kid does kind of have to be a certain amount of years old to really be able to put the glasses on and stay engaged and everything with it. So I think the ride. I love the movie Ratatouille, so a lot of these rides you'll see on here more have a lot to do that I love the movies as well. So the Ratatouille ride, I absolutely love the theming of it all. So even though you got to wear the glasses, our kids were actually both very good at keeping the glasses on when they were really little. And the only thing that I think is a little bit of a drawback to this ride is that the chef sometimes, my daughter has said at times that she's been scared of it. Now, it didn't stop her from going on it. She would just be like, "Hey, Daddy, can you hold me?" Or cover my eyes when the chef is coming up, because they do have a couple parts where it looks like he's attacking you and stuff like that. But overall, the ride is pretty, calm and just enjoyable. Being that it's a newer ride, I think it's a must-do over there in Epcot. Also, it's always, like I always say, um, going back there on World Showcase with the kids, they can get bored if you're not keeping them engaged, and so making sure that you're going on some of these rides while you're back there is a must. So it's a great way to keep your kids excited to go back to World Showcases by trying to go on these rides back there. And Ratatouille is right up there as some of the best rides for little kids. So make sure you don't skip it out on the France Pavilion when you're back there. At 2, I'm going to have Kilimanjaro Safari. This is my only ride on my top 10 list that is at Animal Kingdom. We absolutely love Animal Kingdom. It's got a couple of my favorite rides there in Flight of Passage and Everest, but those all have pretty high height requirements. And overall, as a whole, Animal Kingdom doesn't have a lot of rides there that little kids can go on. So this is a must if you're taking little kids to Disney's Animal Kingdom. Um, Obviously, most kids just love animals. I absolutely love animals as an adult. I'm always down to go to the zoo. And so, you're pretty much going on a safari and going and looking around at animals like you're at a zoo. And, got a cool theming to it all. So kids, they since you sometimes get so close to the animals, kids at all ages can really see what's going on and really enjoy the ride. It is very bumpy, so make sure you hold your kids, tightly and stuff like that. Um, but they'll absolutely love seeing all the animals. I mean, elephants and giraffes are a couple of my favorite animals, and those are a couple of the animals that you see the most while you're on this ride, and the easiest for kids to see as well. So it does make it very enjoyable, and we absolutely love this ride. It's a must every single time we go there. It was one of our favorites. A little tip is to try to go early in the morning to go catch the this ride, because a lot of these animals are a little bit more active right when they're waking up, or they're nocturnal. Some of them, so they're you know a little more active when it's kind of going from morning to from night to morning, um, or trying to catch it at like sunset or even a night safari. Um, so that's a little tip to try to get a little bit better access to some of the animals. They might be a little bit more active, but our kids absolutely love this. And then they have all the little map of all the animals on top of the safari bus. So I know as our kids have gotten older, they want to point out which ones they see and all that other stuff. They're a little bit more engaged as they're getting older. So this is a must do for our kids when we go to Animal Kingdom. So don't skip out on Kilimanjaro Safari when you're at Animal Kingdom. At one, I'm going to have Frozen Ever After at the Norway Pavilion at Epcot. We absolutely love this ride. Yes, I do miss Maelstrom and all that, but I think it was one of the better things Disney has done inside their parks when they made this a Frozen ride and kind of made that whole Norway Pavilion a little bit more Frozen themed. Um, my daughter loves Elsa. My son loves Olaf. So, it's a great ride that both my kids love. It's not, that does have a drop in it, has a couple drops in it, but not scary enough where kids can't go on it. Uh, the whole theming throughout the whole entire ride is just unbelievable. From singing songs that they know, so they love it. They has a tiny bit of thrill in it where they're not scared even when they were really really little. Um, so our kids have loved this from the time that we took them when they were just a couple months old, and really love the whole Frozen franchise. A little tip on this ride might be that if your kids don't want to get wet, kind of put them in the middle of the ride, and if they do want to get wet, maybe put them on the outsides. Now that our kids are getting older, they kind of want to get wet on it, so they request the outsides, and so me and my wife get to sit in the middle. Um, but yeah, both of our kids absolutely love this ride. Um, I do want to touch on that. I absolutely, while I'm recording this video, Tokyo Disneyland opened up their new area there at Disney Sea, and they kind of did a play on this ride, and it just looks unbelievable. It looks even better than Frozen Ever After, and I do hope to one day go out there to Tokyo Disneyland and get to see some of these rides, because it is hands down the most the park I want to visit the most internationally. But it looks like Disney's doing a great job on improving some of these rides with technology and stuff like that. But we absolutely love the current Frozen Ever After, and is a must. Like I said with Ratatouille, it's another way to really keep your kids engaged when you're going back there around World Showcase and having drinks and eating and stuff like that. So make sure you don't skip out on Frozen Ever After. So that's my top 10 list. So to just kind of, go back and do a little quick countdown of it, I have 10 Mickey's Runaway Railway, 9 Pirates of the Caribbean, 8 The Seas with Nemo and Friends, 7 Haunted Mansion, 6 Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, 5 Winnie the Pooh, 4 Toy Story Mania, 3 Ratatouille, 2 Kilimanjaro Safari, and 1 Frozen Ever After. So I do want to close this out by saying, when I did my thrill ride video, I didn't. It didn't leave very many thrill rides out of there, just because there's not a ton of them. So I did a top 10, and there's only maybe a few more rides that I didn't include in it. Um, with this, obviously, ride for kids, there's a ton of rides missing from it. There's so many of these rides that we consider must-dos. These are just some of my favorites, and like I said, I'm factoring what my kids love, what me and my wife love, movies that we love, so we really want to go on. There's so many that just barely miss this list, and that we absolutely consider must-dos. Um, just to kind of go through some of the parks on ones that we absolutely try to do that didn't make this list. I'll just kind of start from the top, like Magic Kingdom. I'll go from left to right, kind of. We love the Jungle Cruise. We also love going back, into Fantasyland. Peter Pan is one of my favorite rides. Um, the Little Mermaid ride, Teacups, the People Mover, and that's just to name a few. At Magic Kingdom, at Epcot, Three Caballeros is one that we absolutely love. Living with the Land, Figment is one of my kids' favorite. If they probably were doing this list, that would have made the top 10. Uh, Spaceship Earth. There's so many rides at each park. And Hollywood Studios, our kids absolutely love the Alien Saucer ride. Um, at Animal Kingdom, our kids also really like the Triceratops spinning ride, which is really only like the only other ride that they have there besides that Navi River that you can ride with little kids. And our kids didn't really love Navi River. We're not huge Navi River fans when it comes to it. We love Flight of Passage. But that's just some of the rides that we do like that didn't make this list. There's so many for little kids, and for each kid, they might be into something different. But I for this video want to try to keep it to 10, and so that's why I ranked it the way I did, with keeping what I like and what my kids like and what my wife likes on this list. So comment below on what some of your favorite rides, or your favorite ride that doesn't have a height requirement for a kid might be at Walt Disney World. So that's going to do it all for this video. If you could like and subscribe, that'd be greatly appreciated. And thank you for watching. Bye.